Alright, I had to do a little change here, grab a little something right there. But we are here now. It is Notes to Strike a Chord Live, and I'm your host, Doug Lindauer. It's another wonderful day for me to mess up on, for you to turn that off, and, it's just the way I am. Oh. Just checking the Discord, checking the bot real quick, and we are going to get on to our Notes to Strike a Chord Live Pets Extravaganza. And I really hope Ethan Note shows up. That would be really cool. I know she's got a lot of pets, and while we can't see them all, I'd love for her to show them off. And my microphone's a little bit far away. It'll get closer, and I will get louder, and that's the last thing anybody wants. Oh, I finally got my other emote approved. Trash Dagger! Trash Dagger! We all know how I love Trash Dagger. I would go and get like all my armor and equipment, because this is Quasar. She's my next Kyber project, but it's not important for her to be armored, because we're not going to do anything. We are going to look at the pets. We might switch characters to see other pets, such as what artificer doggies and whatnot. I got so many. I got all the jokes. Me. I got all the jokes. And so we are going to look at what I think is believable. Let's see, I'm wearing my Commodore shirt because the first computer Commodore made, Commodore Pat. Right, all the jokes are here today. So we are going to start off by looking at my fine pets here over on Kyber. We might switch characters around because they're important. But first off, I've been saying on this joke for a long time. Here's my invisible stalker. And so since you can't see him, there's only one name for him. John Cena. Get a close-up on John Cena right there. You can't see him. Oh, where'd he go? Can't see him. Yeah, I know we're jumping right into it. I know people are like, hey, maybe I should wait and whatnot. What are we going to do? That's what VODs are for. Go back and watch this. I'm going to put them really... Tomorrow morning I got a half day. I plan to really work. Look at this. Right here. Just to waste time. I've got right here. This. Right here. This drive. Right here. This drive. My website. Also the drive that's plugged in there. But that's the working one. This is my main backup. But it's the one I can show you. It's orange. Tastes good. All right, so we have seen John Cena. Well, we'll give John Cena the Capstar seal of approval. Those are my emotes for, people who want to actually sub to me forever. Never had a sub. I ain't never going to get it. Uger promised, but I think Uger gave me a sub to his channel. That's all I'm going to get. Olivia finds that shocking. All right, what should we look up next? Well, we'll go through the generic ones first, ones that really don't need a character. Yep, right there. Where'd it go? Did you see it disappear? There it goes. All right, since it's a fruit bat, I don't really have my favorite fruits are apples and oranges. A lot of people know that. Oh, I forgot to put that up. All right, let's do that. Also put the monitor up. That's easier. There we go. Hi, Pandora 2315. Anyway, I really can't eat many fruits anymore. Every now and then I'll have an apple or an orange, but my favorite band is named after a fruit, the cranberry. I really loved the cranberries, and of course last year the passing of Dolores O'Riordan. I felt that my fruit bat had to be called cranberries. So when I got the fruit bat, there really was a short list of names I could possibly put on it, and that list contained exactly one name, and that was cranberries. And it's probably my favorite of all the generic named pets that have meaning still. Now, I have not named my black striped pseudo dragon yet. I should name it after something dragonish. Oh, and I just had a great name for it too. Let's throw it down. Let's give the dragon a name. We gotta have a good dragon name. Oh, I think I hit it twice. I think that's what I'm doing. Yeah, that's gonna be a pretty good name. Striped pseudo dragon. We are going to name it after the most evil dragon of them all. And we are going to name it after the dragon god of Agnarak. We're going to name it Torak. Oh, perfect. David and Leigh Eddings. I still read the... I would love to see a Belgariad-based MMO. That would be awesome. A lot of comedy, you know. Maybe not as much comedy as, say, if you had to do an Order of the Stick MMO, which admittedly would be fun, but you'd have to watch the humor in that. I think it'd be a lot easier when you do something that combines a serious story with really good humor. Something that could be easily, you know, where the humor would become overbearing or repetitive, I think, you know. And I definitely think that the Belgariad certainly meets that criteria. So we'll name him Torak. All right, my Doom Spherelet. There he is. His name is Weinberger. Waiting for the Cold Warriors to show up and tell me why. Probably not going to get that, though. There was a Secretary of Defense in the 80s named Casper Weinberger, and since Casper's a friendly ghost, and Weinberger wanted a laser-based SDI system, combine that with 10 laser stocks and a ghostlet, well, it makes sense once you explain it that way. He's my little portable little laser beam. Hello, Commander Root. Hello, Apricot Deep Fruit. Yeah, this one was pretty obscure. I'll give you that, but, you know, it is what it is. All right, next up, we'll move to the Onyx Panther Cub. And her name is Kira. She is a little black cat, just like my Kira was. Kira has already crossed, the real Kira has already crossed the Rainbow Bridge into Cat Holla. And so I knew that when I got the Black Panther Cub that I was going to need to name it after Kira. I love the animations on some of these, especially the cats. They really do work pretty well. Sometimes they get a little jumpy. Hey, Cap Drago. And I really, they seem to have pretty good pathing too. And then every now and then, you know, you'll do something that's really crazy. Let's go up here. And they kind of just, you know, kind of float to you. They have tricks. Sleepy cat. Another one I don't use is Play Dead. That always gets me. Yowl. And for some reason they had dance for the Great Cats. Oh wow, that works. Cool. Hey Fargonaut! Got my pop-ups to work. That's pretty nice. Oh. Alright, next off we have my regular 10 Pseudo Dragon, which I have named Kimuru after The great nation of Wales, because it's a red dragon. Look at that. Could have been taken right off the flag. Only it's got 2 extra legs. The dragons have roar. Wow, that was pretty good, actually. Roar, and it's got tail sting. Yeah, that's okay. Sit. Oh, that's pretty neat. That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, dragons. I would really like to see them have, like, I don't know, maybe you buy them. It's read it out though, so I'm not too sure if it's got abilities that you can buy. I think if it's blue bordered, you do. But yeah, I'd like to see them add another one where like beat wings, so it's like really flapping hard. All right, we've got a new one with Sharn. That's the Warforged Peacock, and I've named it Dorothy. My uncle and aunt, well, my great uncle and aunt, Frank and Dorothy, used to raise peacocks on their farm in MacDowell. I guess I should have been on MacDowell, California, now I think about this. So maybe this one's a little bit more precise than I thought. But, named after my Aunt Dorothy. And it can look around, so it, kind of backs up and is wary. Oh, we can get closer. I forgot about that. Find a treat. So it's going to peck around. Termites. Wait, what? Don't want termites on my airship. I like this. Come on. Go. Ah, it's spooked. Oh. I've seen a lot of peacocks do this, by the way. I can confirm it's true. And then it'll fan its tail. Little crystals going off. Because this is a Warforged Peacock. It's here, it is a manufactured thing. And I'm not too sure why you would want to build a Warforged Peacock. You can see it's mostly metal with a wooden body. You did an excellent job on this. All right, now the first of my tressums. This is a calico tressum and it is named after my curtain calico. Her name is Olivia, and Olivia has her own emote. There it is again. We're trying to get Max her on one, but until then I have Trash Dagger. And sometimes Olivia can be found in that box right here. But currently she's not in her box. She just opened up her eye and went like, no, I'm not feeling it today. So, oh well, I guess we won't get no Olivia today. Alright, this is kind of particular, but for a different reason. I bought a gray cranium rat, and I didn't really kind of like the idea of the rats. But what happened was Temple of Elemental Evil came out. And since Temple of Elemental Evil came out, I had to get a cranium rat. Because I had to name it something. Because when you go through the Temple of Elemental Evil, you find these orbs, and these orbs are all narrated by Will Wheaton. And so, to make it sound like my rat was saying it, I named my rat after Will Wheaton's character in The Secret of NIMH, Martin Brisby. I would totally buy a sapphire dragon as well. I would, a bright blue gemstone dragon, that'd be awesome. Amethyst would be pretty cool too, especially with the purple dragon knights. So whenever I do Temple of Elemental Evil, it does not matter what character is on. I always have out Martin Brisby, so it sounds like my rat is narrating the dungeon to me, because the voice of Martin Brisby was, yes, you guessed it, Will Wheaton. Come on, Will. Kind of looks like him too. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Well, I guess a little bit. Yeah, I can see a little. All right, next up we have. No, I already showed off the Invisible Mini Stalkers. What I had out. Oh, the Dusty Air Elemental. Now, the Dusty Air Elemental. When I got it, I was thinking, man, I don't want to get a name. What can I come up with? It's just dust. And I thought about it a long time, and I decided the only possible name for it would be the deadliest thing that is known to man. So I named it Bakersfield Air Quality. I actually did that, yes. I named it Bakersfield Air Quality. I live in Bakersfield, and I can assure you that today this air elemental might actually have been less deadly than the actual air today. You should see my car. It's absolutely covered with pollen. It's really quite disgusting. So since the dust is in the air, all right, I have a snowy owlbear, and he's got a silly name. I watched a lot of Top Gear when I was playing games with my friends down at the shop, and I decided to name it after the tame racing driver. But since the scientific name for owls is Strigg, so it begins with Strigg, I named my owlbear the Strigg. So and I made up like little jokes to go along with it. Like, he eats the cranium rat's tail first, so he can feel the tail wiggle on its way down. Nobody knows why. All we know is he's called the Strigg. Wilford, after Wilford. I would have probably named the regular owlbear after Wilford Brimley. It kind of looks more like that, and God help us all if they ever get like a walrus or a seal one. That would be pretty bad. All right, I'm going to skip the blue fire elemental because I got to be on a particular character to show that one off. Next up, I have a mundane mimic. Oh yeah, another Commodore joke. Another Commodore joke. I named it Bread Box. You see, in the 80s, there was a computer called the Commodore 64, and it was beige and kind of round and big-ish. It was an all-in-one computer. The keyboard was part of the computer itself, and everybody called it the bread box. So when the Mimics came out, and the plain one was really brown and whatnot, I figured, well, why not make a Commodore joke? I guess I should have shown this one off on the Commodore 64, but that's okay. I got to switch over to him for another one. The bad part about the Mimics are they're so bloody noisy. You're going around in the dungeon and all you hear is that chatter behind you. They're loud. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, the Chaos Behold Ring. Come back. One of my absolute favorite movies growing up was The Cannonball Run. And when they had this one, and Dom DeLuise passed away, I also cosplay as this. I had to name Captain Chaos. I'm sorry, Captain Chaos. He's a Chaos Building, it worked for me at least. He's the captain of all the chaos. He looks bored. He licks his eyes. He wants to be beautiful. That was probably easy for them to code. I've seen beholders do that quite a bit, especially in acute delirium. Yeah, I had the ghostly one too. You must have come here just after I shown him off. Mine's named Weinberger after Caspar Weinberger. He's a friendly ghost, and Weinberger wanted to make the SDI system. Trust me, it's funny. Okay, and then I bought gold. I didn't name the gold. We won't really. I don't know what to name it. I'm still meditating on it. I already know what I'm going to name the bronze one when I get one, but I got the gold first for some reason. Alright, the Urn Stone Earth Elemental. I had to name Balboa because, well, he's rocky. I know, that's probably the worst of the jokes I've got, really, trust me. Obvious joke was obvious. They're kind of noisy too, but I don't know, it's just not as obnoxious as the mimics. Although it still is freaky to go into dungeons with them because you'll be all like, "What's that? Oh wait, it's my stupid Earth Elemental." Probably the most boring of the names, but I grew up with Jim Henson Productions, so I bought a frog and named it Kermit. I know, boring, but what are you gonna do? You know, like I said, I grew up with the Jim Henson Production, so that and it was on sale too. I didn't buy all of them. I don't have that many frog-related names. I mean, Kermit, Frogger, and then I'm out of names. I don't know of any other frogs. Well, yeah, I do. There's one more. I should have got one. Call it, after one of my favorite Gordon Lightfoot songs, Uncle Toad. I'll probably do that right after the stream is over now I think about it. Maybe I'll do it over on Argo, though. I think it'd be nicer to have it on the green frog whenever I got the green frog. Okay, I have the Malachite Mini Mimic from the Mimic event. And this one, since we all got them, we decided to kind of all have kind of a saver name. And I got the Holy Saver. The whole guild has ones that begin with, that have the saver in it, so we have a joke going on. We have Lifesaver, TSAVOR, and I don't know, I can't remember the other one. We came out with 4. Huh. I think somebody had Flavor Saver, something like that. Yeah, this is the one you have a lot of turn-ins for. We actually grounded out the Mimic. We grounded out the Mimic event when you could go in and get Mimics from the locked bank vaults in Stormreach Fresco. So there was that. Now it's a lot harder to grind in the Mimic event, but the Mimic event stuff doesn't go bad, so eventually you can get one still. I think they need to run the Mimic event more often. You know, there's almost it almost seems like there's always a festival going on over on the Lotro side. But here we've got Rizia. And Maybar. And sometimes we get Crystal Cove, but I don't know. That seems like something that should almost kind of always be there, to my opinion. All right, so let's see. We have the brown cat. Oh, I haven't named my brown cat yet, so I guess we don't look at it. All right, we will look at my scorpion. Now, me and my wife came up with a naming scheme for our scorpions. Mine is Gordon Summer. Hers is Steve Borden. These are the real names of both people whose stage names are Sting. I got Gordon Summer, who's the singer Sting, and she got Steve Borden, who is the wrestler Sting. I guess if we got another one. Oh, Purple Mimic? Cool. I'd like to see that. But I guess if we got another scorpion, I guess we'd have to name it Frodo's Sword. We got to keep that whole Sting thing going. All right, the Tiny Giant Crab. I named it Last Rites. Yeah, that's an odd story. I used to play a lot of Battletech, and I designed a custom mech based off of the King Crab. If I had my miniatures out and I thought about it, I would have showed you the miniature. Passive bass player. Anyway, I had based off the King Crab, and it carried 2 Ultra 20 autocannons. And I wrote this little story for the blurb where it had an alignment and targeting system, but before it fired, it would align it vertically, and then it would align it horizontally, and it kind of looked like it was making the sign of the cross just before they delivered the last rites, and that's how it's got its name. That and the fact that I put my my Scottish priest as the pilot sure didn't help that. Not at all. I'm out of minutes. I got a couple in here. I'm going to have to ask the wife to get me the mints. I'm drying out. I'll paste them. They're minty. Anyway, when the crab came out, and this is another one where it was all like, I have to name it that. There's just no choice. In all honesty, it kind of looks like it's big enough to have a couple of autocannons in its hands. Maybe if it was Warforged. I don't know. Sometimes I think it looks more like a sandwich with legs. I don't know. Nope, I haven't named the black cat yet. Well, that's easy. I just haven't named it yet. So you're going to see me name it. I already have Kira. And she had a completely black kitten. She was mostly gray. I was always going to call this Boston. He ran away. We only kept one of Kira's kittens, and he ended up running away from mommy, and I had to go live on his own. Kind of wish he'd stayed around. I kind of needed another cat after Kira passed away. I was lucky to have one in Chaz. Okay. Anyway, a couple of months ago, I won the Pet Rock. And I named it after Ensign Rock from Star Trek. Yep, I named mine Narat. I actually love the Pet Rock, guys. One of my favorite ones to have. And, you know, I love I love the Star Trek Extended Universe because they added so many really good characters from the main writers from the show: Diane Duane, Diane Carey, John Ford, Ann Crispin. You know, there were just so many really good writers who gave us so many other great characters other than the original 7. And one of my favorites was always Narat. I would let you see him in my Star Trek story, but they took down the Foundry, and I am sad. I had actually put Narat in one of my stories. Rise Again, you meet him. He's researching something at Memory Alpha. And the great thing is, the way the pet rock moves, it kind of reminds me of a little Horta anyway. No, I am on an elf, so I can. My other Star Trek themed pet. Always yelling at my pointy eared bastards, my elves and half elves, is Dr. Macaw. That's right. I named him because I only play him with half elves and elves. That's quality humor right there. I really wish it would say something, if it had a code so that if you did have an elf, it would say something about pointy-eared bastards. You green-blooded. All right, the other new pet in that comes with the Sharn pack is the Bloodhound, and it's a little bit large. And being a fan of Don Bluth, I named mine Copper from Fox and the Hound. Dear God, the one problem I have with this pet is that it is actually the size of a character, and in all honesty, it gets in the way of my camera way too much. It does. See, I mean, it's a wonderful model, but I really can't see. Yeah, it's just too big. Damn it, Jim. It's just too big. My Warforged and my ranging Warforged like Red Array and my half orc Alcret, it's not that big of a deal, but as you can see that just with my half elf here, it's just, you know, it's just too big. Well, I understand where they were going, and obviously, look at this. It's obviously like supposed to be a riding dog too, which would be neat. Which, if one of the tricks was ride the dog. Licks the paw. Speak. Search. Lay down. Bag. Oh, good. They finally started taking out. I hated the play dead animations. Always did. All right. So the Purple Dragonite favor reward is a spotted wolf pup, and I named mine Mr. Peabody. I do not have a character named Sherman. But I've always been a history buff, and growing up, I loved Sherman and Mr. Peabody, so. You know, I had an extra name, so I went ahead and used it on him. None of his tricks include time travel. I was disappointed. All right, I have a Desert Tressum, which is like a beige tabby, so I named him after my beige tabby, Iron Chris. Called him Iron Chris ironically because he was the most afraid cat I've ever seen. He was this big, large tabby, and I mean big. I mean, he was a big old Tom. But man, he was afraid of every living thing on the planet. And the most hilarious story I have on him is he was actually laying on the grass out front, and he's giving himself a good clean, you know. And he gets about halfway down the fur on his side, on his flank, right? And then he stops, and he absolutely comes to a complete freeze. A complete freeze, because as he's caught in mid-lick, he sees a ladybug crawling on his fur. And then you could just kind of see him just kind of slowly tremble. And then he bolts and hides underneath the bed for the next 4 hours. He wouldn't come out because he was that afraid. Yeah, I've taken a picture of that one. Fargonaut, the Siamese Tressum. Yeah, kind of wonder why we don't get one. Did it come out? All right. Next up is a wraith I forgot I had, and then when I found it, when I procced it, I decided to name it after, the kind of a Scrooge story. He's the Festival Future Ghost, because Ghost of Festival Future wouldn't fit. So he's the Festival Future Ghost. And he's there to remind you to be good during festival, or he will reap your soul. Yeah, well, attack. Oddly enough, a wraith to play dead. It's already dead. It doesn't have to play. No, it just gives you the wraith dissipation animation. That's actually kind of cool, actually. That's not really playing dead. That's just like being cool. Like disappearing in a cool way. Groove. They need more dancing. They need more dance emotes in general, but there you go. That's a problem with the Wraith. When it doesn't make quick turns very well. I know. See, and then it always is popping and resetting. I don't know what it is. I think it's part of the incorporealness of it. This is the bronze golem, so I'm going to bring it out. This has a funny story. If you go over to my website, you'll see an old photo comic I did for Battletech called Miniature Rules. And in it, there's a character in it that became my moniker for the last 6 or 7 years I was playing Battletech. Kind of stopped in 2011. Anyway, it involved a Lyran scout that would always manage to steal a bag of loot from every single faction, including his own. And he became, since he would walk away with that bag of loot, he became known as the Loot Bag Commando. And that became, well, me. And even though I was always trying to be the head of the Star Slayer Mafia, I kind of got tagged with the old Commando moniker, which shows that, you don't pick your own call signs. Your compatriots do, and they'll always try to pick the most unflattering one for you. And I could have done a lot worse than Loot Bag Commando. All right, next up, Raven. I named my Raven after my friend Raven. His real... What? Why isn't it showing me his name? I named him. I know I've got him named over... No, I named him on both ones. Why is my Raven not named anymore? I don't know why. It actually got rid of my name. That was weird. Its name is Todd. It always will be Todd. And this is named after Todd Raven Boyce. During the time I was on the Babylon 5 channel in the late 90s, me and my friend Todd would always play birds together. He was Raven, and he started it, and then not, he was doing silly things, but he didn't have an antagonist. And so I created an antagonist for him, a wily little bird, and I was Sparrow. So we've got a Raven pet, but we don't have one for Sparrow. Which leads me to the question, what about Sparrow? What about me? And if any of you know your wrestling history, you'll know that's pretty funny. Think Scott Levy, which is what we named her bird. She already had Steve Borden. Zoltan, that's another good one, yeah. No, I had a friend named Todd who was known as Raven, so I figured it was pretty good. And this is a really great model. So if they do make a Sparrow one, it needs to be better than this one. Not that there's any rival or anything. God damn, he's always better. All right, next up, another Welsh name for me. I named my Snow Panther Cub after waiting forever to get one. We had one that was unbound but untradeable for some reason. I named it Snowdonia after the tallest mountain in Wales. The dragon's named after Wales itself. And that brings us to our next one. I am very fond of geography, and I also have a great attraction to weird things. So, in 1993, they launched the World League of American Football. And there were 8 U.S. teams and 8 Europe teams. And I decided to pick the one that I thought was the most colorful. And the one that, while I probably would never be able to see it, I had the best chance of never being able to see it because I had family in the area. Close. They lived in Bavaria. But so I fell in love with the Frankfurt Galaxy. That's an actual football team, and they're still kind of around, which surprised me. I found that out this year. And so they had to go by a little different name because technically the NFL owns Frankfurt Galaxy. So they call themselves the Frankfurt Universe. But I've got Frankfurt Galaxy jerseys. Those of you who have seen my earlier streams know that. I stopped wearing them because I drink a lot of coffee, and I didn't want to spell it on there. I got in our football jersey, and since I started at 5 o'clock, it says, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. That being said, when they released the Galaxy Crayfish and it was purple and orange, oh my God, did I have to buy one and name it Frankfurt. Because it's the Frankfurt Galaxy Crayfish. And that might be the worst joke you've heard today. And in all honesty, they don't look too bad. I know Bachlagor will probably just get one and name it Dinner. Right? Entree. Something like that, right, Bach? He's still out there. Oh, there he is. He says he still is. It would be funny. I know when I brought it out the first time, I was with Bachlagor and friends on Fridays on Ice, and it did start a conversation on the relative deliciousness of them. All right, I have, yeah, I can't bring him out. All right, I have the free spider that you get from the Monster Manual. Forest Spiderling. And I named it C.A. Cavatica. And those of you who have seen my Star Trek streams know I have a big affinity for Charlotte's Web, and that's the name. Okay, thank you. Let's see it as it comes up, because I missed it on the front side. Let's see, we got, hey, Samius Gorbo, thank you for the follow. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of Charlotte's Web, and so that's what the CA stands for. Charlotte A. Cavatica. I think that's one of the great jokes in all of literary history. because her name literally means, Charlotte A. Cavatica. Her name literally means Charlotte, a spider. I mean, that's just, that's just so, that's quality wordplay right there. Whoa, he fell. Ah! No, I didn't see the hole. All right, well, we'll get back. All the pets, that's right, Samius. All the pets. I've got all the pets I've got. Kind of hoping to have, hoping Even would be able to drop in, but I know she's moving. Maybe we'll have another one where she just do a guest stream for me. And she'll just do it on, I'll just go over to Thelanis and record all of her pets. We'll just run through House Denny's. Home of the Grand Slam Mercenary Breakfast. It's 2 eggs, 2 pancakes, and your choice of 3 infantry companies or an infantry company and an artificer artillery battery. All right, we are back on, and after Cavatica, we have probably my least inspired name. I decided to name my Tawny Panther Cub after the most famous of the tabby cats on television, Morris of 9 Lives. Also, I kind of only do one emote for him, because now he's a Morris dancer. And that might be the worst joke you'll hear all night. And I'll probably say that at least 2 or 3 more times. I haven't named the winner Wolf Pup because until now I didn't realize I had even earned it. I've been playing a lot over there, and I know I can't do this one. Okay, let's see. All right, I didn't grow up. I was born in Torrance, California. And in the late 1960s, of course, there were a lot of rock and roll bands that came out of LA, and Hawthorne High had the biggest one of all, the Beach Boys. But Torrance was not to be outdone, because Torrance actually, while they didn't have one that was as big, they had one who's had a hit that lasted longer. And that was The Association. And their big hit was, of course, Windy. And so, being from Torrance, California, I decided to name my regular air elemental Windy. Because, hey, who's walking down the streets of the city, smiling at everybody she sees. I don't have nearly as good of a voice as Jim Yance. I'm sorry. He had a very good voice. Yeah, everyone knows it's Windy. After all these years, we still have that, Alright, this one's funny. I pop this one after every TPK, because we are back at square one. And that might be the worst joke you hear all evening. Yeah, I got this with the friend thing when I created my 3rd account. Recommend a friend get a yellow gelatinous cube. I created a 4th one and I gave it to a friend, but she doesn't pop hers very often. So yeah. Yeah, I rethought butter and whatnot, but like I said, it's the square one. It's a square one. It's all squares. And whenever you have to start all over, you start back at square one. So whenever the party wipes, out comes square one, so we can be back at square one. I like the gelatinous cubes. I think they're hilarious. It's actually the play dead. One of the play deads I don't mind. I just kind of like how they just kind of melt. They just pop back up. Their dance is pretty neat. They spin. I would like to have one where it has numbers on it, so it's like a D6, and the one always appears after the spin on the top. And then I would simply name it Jade Hellbringer. I know Brian. He's really kind of a cool guy. If you're wondering about that story, just look up Jade Hellbringer up. And believe it or not, he's actually on TV Tropes. He's so proud of that. He's all like, well, I guess being known as the worst roller of dice in the history of mankind was worth the price. Because I'm on TV Tropes. And I haven't named my red elemental. I thought about all the traditional ones, like, you know, like Bloody Mary, or I don't know. I was thinking Red Rain because of the Peter Gabriel song, which is really great. Will Wheaton. No, no. The worst roller of dice in history is not Will Wheaton. I know a man who makes Will Wheaton look like a Nat 20 rolling god. Actually, Todd Boyce was never that good either, and I thought he was the worst. And then I met a man who went by the handle of Jade Hellbringer, and Jade Hellbringer is literally legendary for that. At Gen Con, he was playing Battletech, and he was rolling in a mech called the Bane, and it's got 10 ultra autocannon 2s. And on the first round, and the thing about ultra autocannons is that if you roll double ones for their fire, they jam and they can't unjam. They're useless for the rest of the game. Well, at Gen Con, in the big Battletech event, on round 1, he rolled all 10 of those ultra autocannons and jammed 7 of them. 14 ones. 7 united snake eyes. Plus a scattering, because he didn't hit with any of them, so there had to be other ones on the board, but he rolled so many ones. I mean, it was crazy. You know, and you know, he's got evidence and everything of it. It was really, and he took it with good grace. He kind of embraced that, and you can kind of see how he allowed me to make fun of that over on Miniature Rules on my website. And he really was this upstanding man about it. Okay, so the rest of these we're kind of have to go to other characters because they don't make sense without them. Let me find out which one's first, and it looks like it's pretty going to be obvious. I need to switch to Alice Thane. Yeah, well, we should really look up Jade Hellbringer and get into a game with him, just so you know Will can win. And I'm pretty sure GHB would love the chance. He would jump at it with both feet and not look back. All right, now some characters have their own pets who have names that align with the characters themselves. And Alice Thane, being my main, being the bard, being my author avatar, of course, is going to get his own. Trying to see if it was within reach. Might have to turn off the camera for a second. I'm almost certain I will. Let me turn off the camera really quick and I will. Although you guys don't need to see me get up and whatnot. All right. Camera. Okay, there we go. All right. Now, those of you who have watched a lot of my streams know that whenever I listen to music, I listen to it on this. And this is my now 19-year-old MP3 player. It'll be 19 years old on about the 1st of June. And I literally carry it everywhere with me. I don't think I've left the house without it in years. In years. I use it with a plug in my car stereo. I always carry my headphones and whatnot. And it's the first thing that my wife ever gave to me when we were dating. And so, since it's so important to me and it contains music and it's a little square and it's a little blue, I decided to name my cyan gelatinous cube after it. It's Panasonic. And I was surprised it accepted it because, of course, Panasonic is a brand name, but as long as I get to keep it, I'm going to keep it. So there's my little MP3 playing gelatinous cube. Kind of really wish it did. That would be hilarious if I could, you could buy one. It said play music. There we go. Dance for me, cube, dance. It's groovy. All right, let's see. I think that's Cherenenko. If not, it's Red Array and it's the other one. We can do that. All right, we're going to switch over to Cherenenko really quick. Natalia, the Artificer. Probably forgot to turn off my Spider-Man. Now he's wearing the... Yeah, he's wearing the... Circlet. Circlet, that's the word I'm looking for. Oh, we sure didn't do good on the donations, but, I've been a regular on streaming. But I've been really regular for Bard Life and Knows to Strike a Chord, so... Oh, well. All right. This is a two-parter. Where is it? There it is. All right. Now, when I got the blue gas, or the blue fire elemental, I knew it looked like natural gas. And since my father worked for them, I decided to combine the name of the fire elemental with the name of her artificer dog. And so we have Pacific Gas and Electric. And that might be the worst joke you hear all night. So whenever I run Cherenenko, I usually have her arty dog out to break boxes and whatnot. And actually, I've got him pretty well equipped. And I run the blue fire elemental, so I always have Pacific Gas and Electric following me. How is it on fire, you ask? I don't know. It's on fire. Let's find out. Its gear contains the legendary Executioner's Docent. No, I don't know. Oh, there it is. The Epic Thrall of the Fire Temple. It's wearing this. I don't even know what the Thrall of the Fire Temple is. I don't remember it. I mean, obviously it comes from Temple of Elemental Evil. But anyway, considering PG&E's past trouble, I think it's appropriate that there's nothing but fire following her. She's following by basically California wildfires, Pacific Gas and Electric. And that's bad too. Oh my God, is that too soon? I don't know. Don't really care. All right. What other dual jokes do I have? Do I have another one? I think I do. One for Yan Sieben. I don't understand. What's Yan Sieben? I don't know. That would be curious to find out, certainly. You want yours all like crackling? Or maybe the blur effect? Yeah, lightning. I think there's probably a couple of ways for you to get lightning. Have you ever tried making thunder and lightning into a collar? That probably would work. Probably be easier to do too. I think he's got a combo. No, he's got the same joke. All right. Who's got the other one? Must be Chorwant. I don't know if Thunder and Lightning has an effect, though. It's something you might want to look into. We're almost at an end. We got a couple more to go. Saving the original one for last. The one that inspired it all. So we've got 3 more to go. I've got to find one. We've got to do Artie Dog, Ursa, and yeah. And the last one. Come on. Why you no log out? Make everybody disappear so I log out. Roar, roar, roar. Cha, 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 come on. Oh my God, why won't it log out? I'm trapped in Barovia. There it goes. For me, it really kind of happened. It's been happening a lot in my Warforge. My Warforge seemed to be really kind of slow to log out. I thought it was my Ranger Artie combos, but it's really just my Warforge. That and admit, I'm beginning to kind of reach the limit on the number of characters I can switch between. Your main's a Warforge? Good choice. Red Array would probably be my main if Glyn and Alice Lane weren't around. I get a kick out of crowd control though. That's why I stay on Alice Lane. Stop that, Cloak gone. She doesn't wear a cloak. All right. Her RE dog's not very important. She's only got 8, but I did think I named it. All right. Yeah, there it is, Robo Sirius. All right, so since I have Robo Sirius on her, she also gets. No, it's a dog. No, that's a rat. Where's the dogs? That's Mr. Peabody. He doesn't count. There it is. I have Sirius and Procyon. Robo Sirius and Procyon, the dog stars. That one's actually not a very bad joke. That one's actually pretty good. They're both pretty much cosmetic because Sirius only has 8 levels, but it's nice to run around with them. And you know, Sirius is still pretty good for like operating levers and whatnot when you clear everything out. He's pretty handy like that. So I got Robo Sirius and Procyon. All right, we only got 2 more to go. 2 characters have pets that I named explicitly for them. Come on, log out. I'm doing a quick double log. Sometimes that works. Sometimes, not this time. And the field goal is good. The crowd goes wild. There we go. I have now. I really wish my buddy was here because we actually designed these characters to go together. We were supposed to run together, but he's kind of stopped playing. It's always disheartening when you come up with a really good team and then you're going to be like play a pair of 2 druid brothers. And I wish he was here because it's absolutely amazing when you get them all together. This is my druid. He had a spawn after his son was born. He just hasn't had the time. His son's quite a handful. This is my bear form druid, Majoris Ursa. So therefore, naturally, I'd have to get a bear and name it Ursa Minor. Now, if we were still doing this together, you have to understand he was a wolf form druid named Majoris Canis, and he had a wolf pup named, you guessed it, Canis Minor. And we would get them all together. And I got a picture of it somewhere, but it's on this computer up here, and I can't show it. But we did get a picture of it one time. I think it's actually over on my Facebook, and you might want to check that out. But yeah, we did get it all together. We set these up, and we'd run together, and people would be all like, "That's funny," and it was really great. But yeah, Ursa Major and Ursa Minor with Canis Major and Canis Minor. It had to be done, and I'm glad we were the ones that were able to do it. All right, the last one before I call it a stream. That's it. We got one more. Oh, back when I had one pet, and it was just that first pet, that demonic spiderling, the demon web spiderling. And for that, we need to go to this character here. The original the one, the only, original pet character joke. One of my favorite battle mechs is the glass spider. The Galahad. 65 tons and twin Gauss rifles. Kind of hard to beat. Now, when I got this pet, I was doing some serious raiding with this character, and we are going to definitely get out of Ravenloft because it is too dark in here to see it. And I was doing raiding seriously, and I was just doing pug raiding, and I absolutely loved showing up to raids and introducing myself. Hi, I'm Ziggy Stardust, and this is the spider, comma, from Mars. I still do that joke today. Whenever I run Ziggy Stardust and I'm raiding, the first thing I do when I join the party and I show up at the raid site and everybody's there, I introduce myself and I say, "Hi, I'm Ziggy Stardust, and this is the spider, comma, from Mars." That's exactly what I type in. And this is the one that got me the idea of, having ideas to go with the pets. Most people do that. But also just have a couple of pets that went with particular characters that you could have fun with. So, what I like everybody to do is, if you would like, I'm going to call this a stream now. It's getting a little bit late for me tonight. I have other things I do have to go do. But what I'd like you to do is to go ahead and follow me over on Twitter and post a picture of some of your favorite pets, their names, maybe some of the meanings behind them. I'd love to see them all. And you can follow me over on Twitter at the Cat Alice Thane. And with that, we will go ahead and we will go to the end of the stream. And I'd like to say thank you for everybody joining, all the new people and all the regulars. I loved having you both. Thank you, Sabius Garobo, for the follow. It's much appreciated. We've got a couple of weeks left. We are trying to raise money to over the summer. We're presenting it as we're paying for Sharn and maybe a stream deck for me, although that's kind of getting a little bit weak. But we could use the help. So if you'd like to donate, down at the bottom there's a link down there. It says "Don't let this bard stay sober," and it would be appreciated. But you don't have to. We're not doing this strictly for money at all. It's just a sign of nice and would be appreciated. Follow me over on Twitter at the Cat Alice Thane. Couple of things that you can look up there on Facebook.com/Glyn's Arcade, and down there at CavalierCavalry.com, maybe to understand where some of my jokes come from, and my past projects and all the archives. And of course, don't forget to join the forums over at DDO.com. They're the best community I've ever seen, with lots of tricks, helpful advice, guidance, and just good old-fashioned camaraderie. I love the "Where Am I" stream. That's a thread, and the DDO album covers. That's hilarious. Check those out as well. All right, with that, I'm calling it a show. Everybody, peace and good questing. Have a great night. We'll see you on Saturday on the official DDO stream for Bard Life.